Hello friends, welcome to this session. In this session, we will take some numerical problem on bending stresses using Fitzgerald formula. So in the previous video lecture, we have taken symmetrical or unsymmetrical I sections. So in this problem, we will take T section beam and we will find the maximum bending stresses inducing to the T section beam. First of all, the problem. I will read first of all the problem. A simply supported beam of 5 meter span carries uniformly distributed load of 2 kN per meter over an entire span. The cross section of the beam is shown in figure. Find out the maximum bending stresses induced into the beam. So this is the problem, and in this problem actually this beam is a simply supported beam, and in front on this slide you can see the section of the beam which is a T shape. So this is the T section beam is there, and which is simply supported, and total length of the beam is 5 meter, and the UDL, that is a uniformly distributed load, is acting onto this beam which is of intensity 2 kN per meter. So as the UDL is given, so we can find the maximum bending moment which is induced into the beam, and for the UDL, simply supported UDL is there. At that time we know that maximum bending moment, the formula is M is equal to WL square by 8. So W is the intensity of the UDL, that is 2 kN per meter. So 2 into total span of the beam is 5 is square divided by 8. So after calculation the value is 6.25 kilonewton into meter. If you convert that value into Newton mm, so you have to multiply this to 10 raised to 6. So 6.25 into 10 raised to 6 Newton into mm. After that, let y bar be the distance between CG of the section and bottom face. Means as we already studied in the last video lecture in the I section, if you want to finding out that y bar, so y bar is the distance between CG of the section and the bottom face. Either you take the bottom face or you take the top face. So suppose here it is a bottom face, so you have to assume that it is a y bar is the distance between CG of this T section and the bottom face. So that is it means that it is a position or location of the neutral axis, either from the top or from the bottom. So let us take that y bar from the bottom of this neutral axis position. So let us find out that y bar means the location of the neutral axis or position of the neutral axis. So for this in this T section you can see you can divide this T section into two parts. One is the top flange and another is this vertical wave is there. The thickness of the wave is 10 mm and the thickness of the flange is also 10 mm. So we have to take that separately. First of all, we'll take the wave, and you know that for the finding out this y bar we require the A1 y1 and A2 y2. A1 is the area of that section and y1 is the centroidal axis distance from the bottom face. So let us find out the A1 for the wave 140. You can see here it is a height of this wave is 140 mm and thickness is 10 mm. So multiplying you will get the area of this wave, and y1, that centroidal axis is 140, half of the 140. So from the bottom face directly we will get from the half, total height is 140 divided by 2, we will get the centroidal axis of this wave. So directly 140 divided by 2, it is 70 mm. So that is a y1, that is the distance of the centroidal axis from the bottom face. After that A2, so we have divided into two. First is the wave and second one is the flange. This member is called as the flange. It is a top location is there, that's why it is a top flange, and this is a vertical wave. So first of all we have to find that A2 means area of that flange and centroidal axis distance. So let us see that this total length is breadth is 100 and the thickness of the flange is 10. So we'll get the 1000 mm square, that is the area. And y2, so 140 plus half of the 10 means how it is determined here. So all the centroidal distance we have to find from this bottom face. So bottom means bottom of this wave. So his wave height is 140 and you have to come at the center of this wave, flange. So 140 plus half of the 10. So thickness of the flange is 10. So half of the 10 means we are coming at the center, at the centroidal axis. Plus you have to take this 140, that is the height of the wave. So then from the bottom face up to the centroidal axis of this flange, it is 140 plus half of the 10. So that's why this y2 is coming 140 plus half of the 10, that is 145 mm. So then you can put these values a1, a2, y1, y2 in this formula, so that we can locate this or position of the neutral axis. So y bar a1 y1 plus a2 y2 divided by a1 plus a2. So a1 is 1400 into 70 and a2 y2 1000 into 145 and a1 plus a2 divided by, so 100 plus 100. So if you put all these value, because already we calculated, so after calculation we will get the value 101.25 mm, that is a y bar. Means this is a location or position of the neutral axis from the bottom face, right? So after calculating the y bar, we have to finding out the calculation of the moment of inertia of the whole section. So first of all, you can divide that T section into two parts. One is the flange, another is the wave. So again, I will repeat, this top part of this, it is called as a flange, and this vertical member, it is called as a wave. Okay, so we divide into two. So first of all, Ixx means moment of inertia of wave, and Ixx2 here it is a moment of inertia of flange section. Means for this we have the formula to determine the moment of inertia. It is a bd cube by 12 plus ah square, bd cube by 12 plus ah square. So by parallax theorem, you know that this bd cube of this wave, b is the breadth or we can say the thickness and d is the depth, is 140, bd cube by 12 plus area we found for the wave, and here it is this h square. So h means what is the distance of this wave section from the neutral axis. So neutral axis and the centroidal axis, what is the distance is there. So centroid of this wave is, total height is 140. So if you divide by 2, half, you will get the 70, and this is a 70, and the neutral axis from the bottom face we already determined, it is 101, means 101.25, and the centroid is 70. So that's why the difference between h is the difference between neutral axis and the centroid of the section. So here it is written 101.25 minus 70 is square, that is h square. And likewise you can write for the moment of inertia for flange section. So flange section, bd cube, again b is the breadth, d is the depth, area we found 1000, and again the difference between or distance between neutral axis and the centroid of that flange. So neutral axis position is 101 and the centroid from the bottom face will get 145, that is, you can see here centroid of this. How to determine the centroid of this flange? First of all, 140 plus thickness is 10 of this flange, so half of the 10 is 5, so 140 plus 5, 145 at the center of this flange. So that is a centroidal axis. So that's why it is 145 minus 101.25. So after doing the calculation of both of these moment of inertia addition, so we'll get the total moment of inertia of the whole section. So that value, it is 5.576 into 10 raised to 6 mm raised to 4. The unit of moment of inertia is mm raised to 4, right? After that, distance of CG from the upper extreme fiber. So we have found that YT Y bar is nothing but that YT, because we have found that distance of neutral axis from the bottom face, and your bottom is under tension. Okay, so bottom, the stress, tensile stresses are developed at the bottom, and compressive, because of the this UDL is acting onto this beam, and that's why there is simply supported UDL is there. That's why at the bottom, below the neutral axis, there is a tensile stresses, and above the neutral axis there is a compressive stresses. And we found that Y bar from the bottom, that's why it is YT. So now YC, total height of the section is 150 minus YT. So YT we found 101.25. So we'll get the YC in the upper in the above the neutral axis from the top fiber. We'll get that YC means at the compression side, Y at compression, YT means Y at tension. So 48.75 mm. Now from the bending stress formula or flexural formula, we have the formula this, because this is called as a bending stress formula or flexural formula. So M upon I, sigma upon Y. M is the moment, maximum bending moment. Sigma is the stress, bending stress. I is the moment of inertia, and Y is the distance from the distance of the neutral axis from the extreme fiber. So now we have to determine the stresses. First of all, we determine the stress in compression side. So sigma C, M divided by I, YC. So M we determine, M we know, maximum bending moment 6.25 into 10 raised to 6, divided by I also we determine moment of inertia of whole section, and YC, that is a distance in the compression side, that is 48. Here it is, you can see. This YC we determine from the total with minus the YT. So we will get the YC. So if you put the YC here, because we are determining the stress in compression side, so we'll get the 54.640 Newton per mm square. That is the bending stress induced into the compression side. So likewise, we can determine the bending stress in the tension side. So for tension side, you have to use sigma T notation. So same formula, M upon I, but instead of IC, you have to take the YT. So what is the YT value? It is 101.25. So only change is 101.25, and remainings are same. M is same, I is same, only YT change. If you do the calculation, value is coming 113.483 Newton per mm. So now out of these two, sigma C and sigma T, which is the maximum value? So maximum is the 113. So we have to see that which is the maximum stress, bending stress, either in the compression, that is sigma C, or in the tension, sigma T. So out of this, from both of these, one sigma T value is the maximum, that is 113. So our maximum bending stress induced into the beam is 113.483. So in this way we determine the maximum bending stress developed into the T section beam. Thank you very much.